Hey guys, this is Aaron Hunt. Welcome to Run Vineyards. Time to go make some wine. All right, so the first thing we're doing this morning is not dying from asphyxiation. So there's a lot of grapes in here fermenting, and during the fermentation process, carbon dioxide is being created. So if you look over that wall over there, there's a carbon dioxide sensor that if the carbon dioxide is in the danger zone, is at a level where it might kill somebody, an alarm will go off and a vent will open or something will happen. And I guess winemakers die every year because fermenting grapes create a lot of CO2, and you can die from CO2 poisoning just the same way as if you were to go in your garage and leave the car running. So what I'm doing this morning is a task that has to be done pretty consistently during the processing of grapes. When you put grapes that have been destemmed and sorted into these big fermenting bins, and they're in the process of fermentation, a cap of dried fruit can form on top, and underneath that is all the juice. So three things are going on. One, the cap is getting dry and potentially forming bacteria, which you don't want. Two, the juice underneath, you want to maximize the contact of that juice with the good stuff in the skins. So you want to punch down, you want to punch the cap of dried berries down into the juice to keep that interaction happening. Also, it introduces a little bit of oxygen to the process, which is probably the right amount. And lastly, it controls the temperature because the heat of the juice underneath the cap could be 95 degrees because of the fermentation. And there are some winemakers that don't mind their fermentation getting really hot. They think it adds to the complexity. Our opinion is that it can damage the fruit, and we want to make a real fruit forward wine, so we want to keep those fermentations cool to preserve the fruit taste. So I'm going to start with one of the easy ones. And of course I haven't done this since last year because you only make wine once a year, and you have to remember everything. See, if you look down, that's going to be real juicy. As a matter of fact, for these, I probably don't even need to climb on this. I'll probably save this board for over here. And just start this punch down process. So what the goal here is to go around the edges and get all of this cap punched down into the juice and get the juices flowing. Now, if you look right now, that color is kind of nice. When we first throw the grapes in here, just the weight of the grapes starts the crushing process, and so they start to juice up a little bit right when you bring them off the crush pad. But what's funny is the juice you get is not this color because it hasn't had an opportunity to sit on the grapes for a few days and pick up that color. And the first thing we do actually when we bring these in is we do what's called dropping juice. You do some math to figure out how much juice is in there, and then you pump out about 10% of it. Because that juice is mostly just water and sugar. And what you do by pumping out 10% of it is you increase the percentage of berries and berry skins, which have all the goodness in them, to the juice, and you get a darker, more extracted, intense wine. And if you've ever had Shadowrun wine, you know that's what we like to make. One thing I don't like about this process is I'm getting juice up around the edges. So as soon as I'm done doing punch down, I need to come back and wipe down the edges with a damp cloth because I don't want that juice on the edges to get dry. And then once again, dry, sticky wine invites bacteria, which is not what we want in the wine. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this one. I just need to figure out how to get up here. I guess I'll do that and try not to drip too much. Make sure I'm standing on something stable so that I don't lose my phone. Okay. All right. Oh, and you don't want to fall in. Fall in here. It's very embarrassing. Obviously, there's some dangers in winemaking. One kind of came to fruition yesterday. My dad fell off an 8-foot press onto the concrete crush pad, and he managed to smash his kidney on the way down. Luckily, he was able to roll when he hit the concrete, and he didn't break anything. But he is a really tough guy, so he's down here this morning. He's back at work, but he's just trying to move kind of slow, so he'll probably be the forklift operator today. And I'll be doing most of the work, which is typical. You know, that's usually how we operate here. Get some, Lucy. Come on. That's a little high for her. It's potassium bisulfide and tartaric acid. It's what we use to keep everything clean. All right. Back to work.